All right, so guys, so as you know, I'm Andres from Chile. You are doing a show here next month at One Last Witch Festival. I'm so honored to have you here and be speaking with you. So thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
So yeah, I would like to start by, well, going right to the point of how do you feel about playing in Chile next month, and what are your expectations of this performance?
I mean, we're incredibly excited about it. I don't think we're going to quite believe that we actually are playing in Chile until we land in Santiago, because it seems like when we were first asked to do it, it just seemed such a surprising invitation. But it's amazing. We're really, really looking forward to it. And in fact, we've built a whole trip around the Chile event.
Oh,
so
great.
yeah, it's going to be incredible. You actually slightly shocked me when you said it was next month, because in my
Yeah.
head it's still a bit of a way away, but it's actually really soon.
Yeah, I think it's like at the end of October, so it's like 1 month and I don't know, 10 days, something
Yeah,
like that.
you're
So,
right.
Yeah, we're very excited. I'm so excited that I'm trying to learn Spanish on Duolingo so that I can say sensible things from the stage. So,
oh, great.
Muy
Yeah.
bien.
Excellent. Yeah, it's not hard. I hope you can make it. So well, have you had the chance to listen to any of the bands that also are performing on the festival?
no.
Actually, no, I
No.
did a little bit when we first talked to Anto about it. Yeah, one of the Chilean bands. They're good.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've heard the Spanish band. I'm not sure how many bands are playing actually. Is it
I
5?
think there's like 5 with you. And
Yeah.
there was a Spanish band called Viva Belgrado. I think
Yeah.
they're like right down on the lineup.
Oh,
Right.
well,
So
it'll be really exciting to see, because we've never been to Chile, and so we've never seen any Chilean bands. We've never seen anything in Chile. So
Yeah.
one of the weird things about being in this band is that we've been to lots of different countries, and then you find there is an indie pop scene. And although obviously each country is totally different, strangely everything somehow feels the same, but in a nice way. It's a community, I suppose. It's just a
Yeah.
community
absolutely.
a long way away.
And we will listen to those bands before we make it to Chile. We
Yeah.
just haven't. I haven't yet.
Great. Yeah, I think there are like 3 Chilean bands. So yeah, you should definitely listen to them.
Yeah, we
Good.
will.
All right. And so yeah, how did you receive the invitation to perform at this event, and what motivated you to accept it?
We got a message on our Instagram from Anto saying, "Do you want to play in Chile?" And we're like, "Yeah, of course he would." But then, and luckily, he was going to be in London shortly afterwards, so we met with him. I mean, I could tell that he was a nice person, but it's a long way to go. So you kind of want to meet the person who's going to be organizing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we thought he was great, and very sincere, and we really liked the way he was going about the festival. Sort of, it was quite grand. It's kind of, what's the word? It felt like a real event rather than
Or DIY, I
a
guess.
DIY event rather than a corporate event.
Absolutely.
And that's the kind of event we like.
Yeah, and absolutely. And speaking of that, in terms of logistics, how challenging has it been for an independent band like you to arrange tours and concert in 2024? And how would you compare it to, I don't know, in the 90s, for example?
It's interesting. I mean, we never came to South America in the 90s, so maybe it's easier in that.
Actually, well, you have Instagram now, you receive messages.
Yeah, I think in that sense, it's much, much easier just being able to, I mean, the first Heavenly tour that we organized in America, we literally did it all by letters. So I'd write a letter and a week later I'd get a response. It's amazing that it worked. So because phone calls even were, you could phone, but it was so expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So no, that's all so much easier. But I think, I mean, we're lucky in that Heavenly is big enough now that we can play big enough venues that people are willing to pay our way. So, you know, Anto is covering our costs of coming to Chile. And we wouldn't really want to do it otherwise, or even be able to do it otherwise. In Heavenly, we did manage to cover our costs just about back in the day too, but it was quite a struggle. And I think these days that trying to cover your cost at that level is much harder. So I think if Heavenly was going now, if Heavenly was new now, I don't know if we'd have been like able to go to America and do the things that we did, because it might have been just too unaffordable for us.
But then again, when we were that age, we didn't all mind sleeping on the same floor.
That's true.
And I don't mind sleeping on a floor occasionally, but I don't want to sleep on the same floor as everybody else in the band.
Yes, our costs were a flight and a bun.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, hope you can get a good room, some bed, get all comfy.
Yeah, we don't know about that yet. That's insurance. Until that, we may be getting his door. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd
well.
say this trip has been slightly challenging in terms of our geographical understanding, because we were like, oh, if we're going to play in Chile, then we should play in the west coast of America because that's on the way. Which is not entirely true.
No.
And well, Chile is the only gig you are doing in South America. I guess you didn't receive any calls of, I don't know, from Argentina, Brazil.
Well, I mean, a couple of people did, but our time was quite limited. And once we organised the gigs in the west coast of America, that plus Chile meant there was no time left.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, but you know.
Yeah.
We just means we have to come back sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all difficult because well, just we all have responsibilities in the UK, so we can't be away too long.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
I've got a cat.
Yeah.
Big deal with ages. Actually, I could be away for some time as well, but not everybody.
Yeah, you can be that away from your cat for that long.
They're very independent.
And yeah, the gigs have been great for what I can see. I mean, you have sold out dates in Europe at least. What kind of reception do you typically expect when you announce a show at a certain place?
It still feels quite new in this kind of new Heavenly, because we literally just did a couple of gigs last May, so that was a year and a half ago now, or a year and a bit ago. But that was kind of an experiment, and to see, you know, well, in its own right to be fun, but also to see if we wanted to do any more. Yeah. Then we've done some more, but we haven't done that many. We've been quite, I don't know, choosy about the things that we've wanted to do. And the benefit of that is that actually when we play, I would say the audience is really excited, and actually we're really excited. So
right.
They've been brilliant. All the shows have been brilliant so far. So the first time that it's going to feel like being on a proper tour is going to be when we go to the West Coast, because we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including Chile, shows like in a row, like proper bands do. And whether we have to see whether we still get as excited every night, but we will be in Chile.
Yeah, it will be exciting. Yeah, great. Well, now changing of subject. Well, I read in an interview that, well, in the 90s, you mentioned that you didn't feel quite identified or didn't want to be as close as the Britpop movement that was around the UK. And now that, well, we all heard the news of Oasis and Blur last year, I don't know, what's your opinion about that?
I think that
I don't think it's changed our mind.
I think you feel the same way.
Yeah.
I probably feel it more strongly, actually, which is, but a more mature person than me would just get over it. But at the time, I just kind of ignored those bands. But now I like them less.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, if Pete was here, he had a good phrase for somebody else asked us about Britpop, and he said that we were conscientious objectors.
Conscious object. I like it.
We just sort of avoided the whole thing, really.
Yeah.
But then the whole thing avoided us. It was a kind of, it was a very corporate thing, and we were on a little indie label, and we just weren't part of it at all.
Yeah, I mean, there were good bands. I mean, I really like Pulp, for example, who were, I think they would probably say they weren't a Britpop band as well, but I think they probably were. But yeah, I have to admit, you know, I don't think that any of us was sitting on the phone whenever it was Saturday before last, desperately trying to get Oasis tickets. Well, not maybe Kathy was.
Yeah.
This.
Did you get tickets?
I couldn't speak for you. Maybe you were.
You weren't expecting this interview to be the time when Heavenly fell apart.
That's why we need to do these shows, to earn the money to pay for my Oasis ticket.
Yeah, extremely overpriced.
You know, I don't know if you might not have seen it, but they probably won't, because when the Oasis things first came up, I mean, I don't really care about the music, and some people like it, and that's okay, but I do hate the sort of Ticketmaster corporate money grabbing machine with these two toxic males going in front.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
we'll send you a picture. Me and Amelia did a funny, well, I thought it was funny, parody of that picture, which expresses how we felt about it.
It's scarily convincing, actually. I was slightly shocked when I saw it.
If you think, take your glasses off, do a picture. You're of Liam. It's really good.
You got to do the gormless face. There we go. There it is. Have you ever seen them in the same room? I don't think so.
We'll send you the picture, then you can see what.
We'll see you.
It was actually really. So I don't look at loads of social media, but the week that everything was going nuts with Oasis, there was a really brilliant reminder of the opposite, which was that Sarah Records, and I think we're celebrating the 30th anniversary, I guess, of when they released their 100th record, and then, you know, said at the end, and there's a brilliantly written, as usual, thing by Matt, which was just like the proper antithesis of what the whole Oasis Ticketmaster machine seemed to be, and it was just nice. It happened in the same week.
Yeah, that was really fun. Thanks so much. Well, let me see, where was I? Well, the indie concept came up recently, and now in my opinion, now it kind of lost the meaning. I mean, bands like let me see, Arctic Monkeys or The Strokes, they are still called indie, like in my opinion, from young people. So have you, do you know if I don't know, it's not, I don't know how to say, like, do you think it fits, like, calling them indie then?
Well, it's the word has just changed its meaning. So it used to be short for independent, which meant on an independent label, and then at some horrific point, it came to mean blokes with guitars, and occasionally a woman, but mainly men, and it just became a sort of corporate subgenre. So we still use the word, which is a bit odd, really, because it for most people it now means something else, because it means blokes with guitars. But I suppose we stubbornly still hang on to it as a word that means independent, genuinely independent. Just sounding a bit rubbish.
And I thought that indie pop was free of this, but when I went to I had to categorize one of our songs recently, and it said, indie pop, do you mean that you sound like Vampire Weekend?
That's
So,
it, yeah.
Who was this evil questioner?
it was like a bot. It was an AI bot.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you a robot? Do you sound
Yeah.
like Vampire Weekend? Please
Yeah.
tick the buses.
So probably what we should call ourselves these days is actually DIY, because that's probably closer.
But even that, I mean, any genre which is invented, which is independent, which is successful, will then be appropriated, and the name will be appropriated
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
by the industry. So whatever you do, if it continues to fail, then they won't pay any attention. If it shows a sign of being popular, then they'll have to find a way of owning it.
And the other name that gets attached to us, which probably we ought to embrace because it's the only name that not everybody else is grabbing, is twee pop.
Yeah.
But we feel slight. It still doesn't feel. We don't feel that comfortable.
Well, also
with twee pop.
it did mean something in the corporate world in the early 21st century. And
That's
it was sort of rich, preppy people
dressing
like they were librarians, which
Yeah.
wasn't really what we mean. I don't know if you know, sorry to blow our own trumpet, but we have this other band called Swansea Sound. The first single by that band was called Corporate Indie Band, and it was a song all about this question.
Yeah, you'll find the complete answer to your question in that song.
Yeah. So
And the
I'll be
video.
listening right away after I finish listening to it. Yeah, but it's funny. Well, yesterday I was reading a review on an online website, and it resonates a lot with how I feel listening to your music. And I don't know what you think, but for me, it was like a good impression. So it was like sharing milkshakes at the drive-in theater. How would you? What do you think about that?
Did you say sharing milkshakes at the drive-in theatre?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, love that.
That's brilliant. But you know, the really ridiculous thing is, being in Britain, I've never been to a drive-in theatre.
It's too cold.
It's too cold. We don't have them.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
I have shared a milkshake, so I'll go with that.
Yeah. All right. Thumbs up. Great. Well,
I've just realised something quite cool, which is that picture.
oh,
Sorry, I just got distracted by this. This picture, which is in my living room,
gorgeous.
was taken in Santiago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a painting.
You have amazing kind of street art.
Yeah,
and we went
absolutely.
on a street art tour, and that's a picture of my daughter with God knows who that is. You might know who that is.
Oh, I can't. No, I can't know who he is, but he seems like a singer, to be honest.
It's Roy Keane.
Of course it's Roy
You've been
Keane.
to Santiago before then? I didn't know that.
I have been to Santiago before.
Yeah, but
That cheating.
you're gonna be entertained by all the art streets that are around Santiago. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
So are you really, really bored and just sit in a cafe and smoke cigarettes?
Done it.
That old thing.
You're gonna have fun. You're gonna have fun. Well, I have some last questions here. This is about reissues vinyl. This year you reissued your vinyl, The Decline and Fall of Heavenly, coinciding with the 30th anniversary of its release. What can you tell us about this album and its significance to you?
I think that the album and also the single that's now on the album, the PUNK Girl and Atta Girl single, we recorded them all around the same time. So I think of them all together. And they all were recorded kind of shortly after we had been on the West Coast of America and found out about Riot Girl.
Yeah.
And I think that I know we were really inspired by Riot Girl, but we didn't really want to sound just like a Riot Girl band. So we were trying to bring in some of the ideas and really kind of, I guess, experimenting with our music more than we had, and our lyrics more than we had before. So I really like both the album and the single. I'm not sure that it's kind of entirely fully realized, if you see what I mean. I kind of want to go back and do it again. but
Yeah.
I think at its best, I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of reissues, how is the process of reissuing Operation Heavenly going? What can you share about that?
Yeah, we don't really want to talk about that because we've failed to do anything about it. But we will.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a, yeah, we were talking about it this morning.
We're waiting for the 40th anniversary of its release.
every 10 years.
I want it.
We were literally talking about it this morning.
Partly because I think it's the best one. But,
yeah.
But anyway, we will do it. But as you can tell, there's been very good progress.
Basically, it's down to me. I do the little booklets, and I haven't had time to design the booklet, but I it's on my list.
We can still wait. We'll wait.
The making of the booklet seems to take about 10 times as long as the recording of an entire LP.
Well, that's in a great indie tradition, isn't it? That's like tribute to the fanzine world.
You look at the booklet and think, oh yeah, that must have taken a really long time.
Well, the artwork and the lyric sheet gotta look nice. I think
Well,
it's really important when you buy a vinyl.
Yeah.
Well, will we be able to see any of your vinyls at the merch table of the festival, or maybe T-shirts, CDs?
There will be some T-shirts, yes. In fact, we're making some special ones, which you've got.
Yeah, I saw them yesterday.
And so that's kind of fun. And I hope we'll have some vinyl. It's quite, getting vinyl to places is quite difficult because it's, it's expensive. And we'll have some in America. I'm not quite sure. We need to work out the logistics.
Yeah, we'll see if we still have any, basically.
Yeah.
But
we will try to bring some.
Yeah.
Because I think people. Do you think people would like to buy them if they have records?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the shipping to order them, it's really expensive to get it in Chile.
How much does it cost to buy something like that if you're in a shop?
Well, I don't know. Suppose the vinyl costs 20 pounds. The shipping will be 25 or 30 pounds.
Well,
yeah.
Wow.
It costs more than the actual product you are buying. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually that's a good
This
thing.
is very good. Do you want to be our manager?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no problem. I would love that.
We need help.
Yeah. I mean, because I have many friends that already bought the ticket and they all collect vinyls. So I guess they will really like to have vinyls.
Yeah.
So.
We will send some out. I think probably what we have to do is to send a big bundle out by post.
Yeah.
Now, so it gets
absolutely.
Yeah.
But
it's the problem with vinyl is that it's really heavy and it's really fragile.
Absolutely.
So we sent to America, and then they failed to arrive. There were 2 Heavenly shows in New York, and the records arrived just before the second show. It was like, so it was quite funny because the venue was upstairs in this amazing old place, and downstairs there was a big Korean food and vegetable shop, and that's where the records arrived. So eventually somebody said, Rob, come down, and then I got led right through to the back of the Korean vegetable shop where there were guys having cigarettes and sitting on crates of sort of cabbage, and they said, "There's your records." But yeah, it's just one of those things where you think, oh God, the sending of the records, the collecting of the records. Although I was quite glad to see backstage at the Korean vegetable shop because it was.
Yes, I can imagine that would be a good learning curve.
It was.
It's a good point. We need an address to send them into in Santiago.
At my house. I'll be happy.
Don't joke. That might come out to the facts.
What do you think? What do you think the festival will be like? Do you think it will be fun? Is it looking good?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been trying I entered the websites to see how are the tickets selling, and they are like on the last. I don't know. there are probably like 100 tickets left, I think.
Oh, right.
Oh, wow.
They've done really well.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant.
That's
Yeah,
that's
and-
good. I think it's just a really exciting thing to know that you'll meet
Mm.
people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful venue. There is like open at the air, you know. It's
Yeah.
not closed. It will sound great. It's very beautiful.
We could
Oh.
share a milkshake.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we
Well,
can go
let's
to the
do that.
movies.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I gotta finish now with what message would you like to give to your Chilean fans?
Um, yeah.
Oh. We just say see you in October.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you. If you'd have told us, we could have learned how to say it in Spanish.
Ah,
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
hasta octubre.
So let's go. I mean, let me think. Is there a Chilean word maybe you can say like, I don't know, like, well,
Is Chile?
Yeah,
Is
that's
Chile-
a good thing. What's something that's specifically Chilean rather than just Spanish, like that you would only hear in Chile?
you can say like, I don't know, like, weon is like dude, but also means like friend and something like
Way
that.
on,
Yeah,
Way on.
way on,
you can
Way
say like,
on.
¿Cómo están, weones?
Cool.
How are
way
you, weones?
on.
Yeah, it has two meanings, but it's like dude or dumb, but mostly 90% of the time it's like dude, and everyone will have a good laugh about it.
Okay.
Way on. I can
Yeah.
remember that. Way on is
Yeah,
cool.
it's like, well, I don't know if like, yeah, I wrote it there.
Oh, way on. Oh, I thought it's
Yeah.
W-A-Y. Okay. Way on.
Way on.
Yeah. Well,
Way
Absolutely.
on. Very
you
Yeah,
don't say way on.
No, you don't say the
way
H.
on.
So just way on.
yeah,
Way on.
That's
yeah, way, like, I don't know, like,
English tends to pronounce the H. Way on. But we
yeah,
Way
must
on.
the
Way
H
on.
is silent there. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Way
like a
on.
W maybe, like we on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy and I did a little video. I don't know if you've seen it to say
Yeah, it's a,
you know, and we did it with a friend of Kathy's son there, who is 10. And at the end we said, was that all right? He went, it is Ai, not Ali. And we were like,
And he also, we said, is there anything that is really bad? And he said, the accent, there is nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
But the
No, but you
word,
did pretty
he
well.
did want to correct the words.
You did pretty well. Everyone loved it. I saw the
if we
comments and
left it
everyone.
wrong, we thought it'd be funnier.
never ask a child.
No.
Never sketch up. All right, guys. So yeah, I'll see you in October then.
Very
All right,
good.
maybe I can buy a vinyl.
Oh,
Yeah.
hopefully. All right.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll do this.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure talking with you. So see you next month. Bye bye. Have a
See
great
See
night.
you, way on.
See you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.